Thanks everyone for letting me share the demo. Really excited to walk you through it. And as we just saw, right, we're talking to somebody that has this challenge of manager effectiveness. And just to kind of set the stage, we can learn about that manager effectiveness through our surveys, through feedback in the platform, be able to address manager net promoter score, and identify some of those themes as to why those are rated lower. Things like poor communication, lack of direction, lack of that support for career growth. And we're going to focus on how can we really help that. So we're going to walk through the lens of the manager and talk about how we can leverage the platform. So if this is a typical day and I'm reading through my email, I've noticed that I've received from Betterworks an email that's assigning me an action plan focused on leadership development. And this action plan has associated goals and milestones and suggested next steps to take. Maybe that's having a conversation with my HRBP and discuss some of those survey results. But you'll notice in that email, we are connecting Betterworks in the flow of work, right? We're connecting to everyday applications, and a manager and an employee can really be engaged to understand what are those things that we should focus on, what are some of those goals that we've set at the beginning of the year, be able to ask for feedback in the moment, and then be reminded of those conversations that we should be having throughout the year, right? Check-ins, maybe our mid-year review, and then those one-on-ones. And since this action plan is telling me I should schedule time with my HRBP, maybe add that to a topic for our next agenda for our one-on-one. And those one-on-ones are going to not only allow us just to connect with other individuals within the organization, but allow us to track those notes, have follow-up items, and actually set goals that are live in that conversation. So now that I've had this one-on-one with my manager, right? We're going through the day-to-day activities, we get distracted, life happens, and we maybe forget about that goal that we set. But Betterworks is going to remind us of the goal that's been set or assigned for us. We're going to receive those notifications out to Outlook, also out to Teams that say, hey, don't forget about that goal that you set. Maybe we want to add it to our calendar. If you've made progress, this is the time to do it, and be able to do that right in the tools that we're in every day. So this is where that employee can, again, be able to give feedback or give recognition, be able to update their goals. And since I've already had that one-on-one with my HRBP, and we discussed those results and next steps, I'm able to check that off in real time rather than navigating to the platform. So let's dive into those goals that we set and that we can build out in the platform to help those managers focus, and especially when it comes to that manager effectiveness and focus on this goal. So a couple of things that I'm going to work on as a manager, I'm going to be assigned some courses, and we can connect this to tools that the team's already using, things like LinkedIn Learning, Degreed, Udemy, and be able to update our progress right from those tools through our out-of-the-box integrations. Another milestone that I have is to build trust with my team, to make sure that I have those conversations regularly, that I'm capturing feedback, I'm sharing that feedback and delivering it to my direct reports to help them grow. So as I'm thinking about these conversations and what that next step is with the employees, I'm able to launch conversations with my direct report, and Betterworks is taking the burden off of managers. That manager doesn't need to focus on what are those specific questions that I want to have with my direct report. HR's already enabled them with the templates that are built out in the system that are prescriptive and focused on that specific conversation. So as I go in and I'm thinking about launching this conversation, we have the ability to introduce guides throughout the platform. This is going to help that manager focus and understand what is it that I should be doing at this stage, maybe give them some tips, a quick video to review before having that conversation. And in this example, that manager is being notified, hey, before you have that conversation, maybe you should ask for feedback from the peers and mentors that Damon works with on a day-to-day basis and get some of their feedback, and you can talk about it during that conversation. So again, putting the manager in that driver's seat and be able to request feedback anytime throughout the year. We don't have to wait for HR, the system, to launch out a feedback cycle. We can launch that anytime throughout the year with, again, flexible templates that are specific for that conversation that I'm going to have with Damon ahead of time. And these are really configurable. We can tailor who do we want to share this feedback with. Right now, it's just going to go to the manager, so that go back to me, so that I can review this and then share that when we're talking about that career development for Damon. So let's fast forward. Let's say I've sent out some feedback and I just received those. And now it's time to have that career development conversation with Damon. You'll see in our templates that we can have a really focused conversation, and we're really preparing myself, the manager, and the employee for this discussion. For the manager here, I'm going to be enabled with data and what is it that the employee's working on? What are those goals that we set? Are we on track? Are we off track? What feedback came through when I sent out that request? I'm able to review that in real time and share those results with Damon as we look forward and talk about his career next steps. And then for Damon, he's going to have his own set of questions, but he's also going to know that, hey, my manager is going to have this focused conversation. It's hyper personalized for me. And we're going to talk about my journey and what I need to do to be successful in my role. So we're able to build out these templates. They're really configurable. We can build out multiple templates so that we're having these conversations multiple times throughout the year. And if we fast forward a couple months and it's time to have that mid-year review or end of the year review, because we've been talking regularly, we've been updating our goals frequently, there's no surprises, right? We're enabling that employee and manager. And there's going to be a similar look and feel because we've been having these conversations throughout the year and up to this point. So in this experience for a mid-year review, we are throwing out that traditional performance review. And this is really why our customers are coming to us. They want a modern solution that's simple, but something that's going to be really meaningful for both employees and managers. So for an employee, they can reflect back and think about what are those things I've accomplished over the year? What do I want to share with my manager? And we can even take the opportunity to have a self-assessment or even push out some confidential questions that are driven from the HR team. This is where we can start to gather additional data points on that manager effectiveness and look at, are some of these improvements that we've introduced, are we seeing better results? From a manager's perspective, I'm going to be able to see the responses from Damon. I can see his self-assessment, and I'm going to have my own section to be able to share my results with him. As I'm going through that, I have all of the data in one place, right? I have my goals, I have feedback. I also can look back quarter over quarter or throughout the whole year and be able to see what feedback has he received, what recognition, what are some of those wins and accomplishments that he's made throughout the entire year, instead of thinking about what just happened recently, right? To reduce some of that recency bias. And then when it comes to ratings and questions, these are all configurable. We can tailor it to be for a specific group. Otherwise, we want to keep some consistency and also prepare that manager for that conversation and some talking points. When it comes to ratings, you can see that I'm able to provide some ratings on things like performance and even address some of those more talent fields, things like potential and promotion readiness, the impact of this employee, and be able to share that with the HR team, which those data points would then be captured and used for some of those downstream decisions or processes, and even be able to calibrate on those data points as well. So I understand today's process. You're using spreadsheets, it's very manual and time consuming. Managers don't have a lot of visibility into that until we actually calibrate. And you'd have full control with calibration here. What level of access do you want to give those managers? Do you want to give them the ability to come in ahead of time, be able to prepare for those conversations or that calibration session? And then we can build a really configurable process when it comes to calibration. We can do things like look at your performance ratings and identify where are your top performers. but then we can also look forward and identify those that are ready for a promotion, look at impact and be able to see where do employees fall, and also be able to bring in that data from your HRIS, be able to filter on that and leverage that during these sessions. So what we've seen here, right? We've seen data being captured throughout the platform, and we're enabling those managers and surfacing that data to make better decisions, create the right behavior. As a manager, I want to make sure that my team's engaged. I want to see, are they setting goals? Are they making progress? Are they taking the initiative to grow and develop by asking feedback and interacting with their peers? And I'll be enabled as well as be able to take action and drive that adoption and behavior that I want to see on my team. From the HR perspective, I just want to switch hats here for a second and talk about the metrics and the insights that we provide to the HR team. As an admin, I will have all of this at my fingertips to be able to see how the program is doing, how are our teams interacting with the platform. When we think about performance, what stages are those conversations at? No surprise that we are stuck in the manager phase right now. I can take action, I can intervene and coach those managers to be better coaches through the platform. And then we're able to also capture the feedback from the team, right? As an HR admin, I can push out confidential questions to the team to be able to ask for from the employees, how are your managers doing? You know, we're introducing new questions or having conversations throughout the year. Do you feel like this is effective? Do you feel like your managers are great leaders? Be able to address those. And now what you're seeing is this technical operations team that we looked at earlier is now rating their managers as 60% highly effective, since introducing things like continuous conversations and feedback and being able to coach the managers through the platform. So we're going to highlight those and be able to see as this program improving.